What's good, YouTube? I'm back at it. This is D Chill from D Chill Discussion. So please comment, like, subscribe if you like the channel, and also share. Because I'm one of those type. Don't just tell me to like it just to like it for your pleasure partner. If you ain't spitting something that I like, I'm not going to just like it to help your ratings. It got to be something that I like, period. So that's the same way how I feel. If you don't like it, keep on going. And I need to work on my stuff if that's be the case. But nevertheless, I'm learning to mention these things at the beginning because I don't normally say it at the ending. So I want to make sure I'm consistent so I can get my stuff in the algorithm and I can start being able to put out more information to help myself and y'all because trust me, some of the things that we talk about, it's not just for us, for me, it's for y'all because you'll learn something. You can grow. You can, like my brother used to tell me, learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to do the same thing. Learn from my experiences. They always say experience is the best teacher, so let my experience be your teacher. You don't have to go through what I've gone through. So also, I want to let me say this. I don't just give shout outs for the heck of it. I do it for a couple reasons. Number one, not we, there's so many people on YouTube talking bad about this person, that person, cats in your own neighborhood. And that happens because I've had my fair share of issues of dealing with people in my neighborhood as well. However, we got to get back into showing more love and appreciation for the next man or woman because that's how we grow. That's how this world started, how it was formed. It wasn't off the hate, it was off love. So I just want to say that. And also, I can do these shout outs because these folks are helping me. There's things that I'm dealing with. Like I've said before, I had a stroke, and it's not for no pity party. I'm just giving you the reason why I do it. And I figured, man, I need to give these people their shout outs because they have some good content, some of them great content, and it helps me be able to listen to them while I'm doing my exercises. Some of y'all, I'm gonna just be straight up with it, and I'm not gonna be disrespecting nobody. Some of y'all might have to stop listening to. Now, I used to be a cat that couldn't get a sentence in without cursing, like ridiculous. I mean, I had a horrible mouth, but I've learned over the years. One thing was taught to me: the reason why a lot of people curse is because they don't have a lot to say, or they don't know what words to use besides curse words. And the other thing is, and goes along with what I just said: education. If you don't have the correct word to put in place of SHITFUZ. Yeah, if you don't have a word to, because man, if you don't have the right word, I'm not gonna say what I want to say because then you might know who I'm talking about. But if you don't have the correct wording, all you're gonna do is just be cussing throughout your videos because you don't know what words to use. Like literally, myself, I'm fumbling with things to say because I don't curse anymore, and my education or my grammar, my vocab is not up to par. Having these different words, so I'm fumbling with different words on what to say and how to put it. I mean, look, you can literally hear it in my voice. Like I'm struggling to find the right word to make this sentence make sense. And it's sad because we spent so much time in the streets and thinking it's hood to be cussing and calling chicks out their names. And I was a habitual with that. It's just sad. And the only way we're going to better ourselves is by bettering ourselves. And so this is one book that I've been working on. I need to do more working on it. It's not just something to read. They got stuff in there that you can read. You can answer questions to make sure you're understanding the meaning of that word, how to apply that word. So I want to be able to be well rounded and be able to speak to not just the hood folks. I want to be able to be in a corporate conversation and be able to talk fluently, thoroughly with them folks that are on a higher level than I've ever been on. I need to be able to be have a conversation with them folks, like my brothers and my dad. I mean, even though my pops has spent plenty of time in a pen, his vocab is super sharp. I mean, I used to call my brother the thesaurus because that dude used to be having some of the biggest words I ever heard back in the day. I used to say, man, what you all them big words? But it's not his fault that I wasn't sharpening my tools because I was locked in the. Anyway, I didn't spend 5 minutes telling y'all that, but I think it was important. But yeah, I wanted to give y'all the understanding and reasoning why I do what I do. So back to the shout outs. So I'm giving a shout out to um, Quebec Videos, Stephen A. Smith First Take, Joe T, Big Joe, C. Bill, Big Blue Rag, um, Jay Williams, 16 to Life, Big Cartoon, Young Aunt Hefe, don't care about none of the checks say, uh, Damian Porter, Real Kings TV, Charlie Global, Big Homie Blocks, Big Tonka, LA Ron, um, what else is a couple more? Anyway, wanted to get, oh, of course, Street TV. I'm tripping. Inglewood, Inglewood Legends, 89 on up, homie. Definitely got to send love to them folks because they didn't literally sent love to me and on my channel. 89 homie. He, the only person that's that I've mentioned that has went in and looked at a couple of my videos and commented on my videos. So I got a lot of respect and love for the homie for that. So anyway, we're gonna keep this thing rolling. So the story I'm gonna tell y'all today is gonna be mixed with it's gonna be a couple of stories in one because it's it's not a lot, but it is a lot, but it's broken down into different parts. So I'm gonna start with the first one. This was by my stepdad. His name was Butch. Williams James Cock the Third. That's what he used to say about his name. May he rest in peace. He used to. I was crying, man. I got to get to telling some more stories about him because he was beyond funny, comic. Oh my lord! I mean, he was ridiculous funny. Um, so one day he was telling us, out of the many stories he's told us, one day he was telling us a story about how his buddies, well, one of them was his direct partner. His name was Asbury, and there was like three other one of his partners, and but I don't remember their name. I just knew Asbury because he used to come by the house. It was those three and him, and they all went to Garfield together. So they had been going to Garfield for a while with Bruce Lee. Well, at the time, Bruce was just a regular Asian guy going to school with them and, just a regular guy. So they had what's that thing called again? They had a restaurant across the street from Garfield. Excuse me. And it used to be called the Doghouse, if I'm saying that correctly. If not, y'all get in the comments, you old veterans that remember the name. But I believe that's what him and my mother told me that the name of the place was called the Doghouse before it became uh, Ezell's. So one day they're up in there and, they're just hanging out, just, kicking it. I guess, having them some milkshakes and eating their little burgers, kicking it as a crew. You know how we do when we're with our partners. So in comes Bruce Lee. Now, mind you, this ain't the Bruce that's been on film, that's been doing this and the third. We're talking in high school, so he couldn't have been no more than probably 17 or 18. So here comes this little thin Asian dude. He come in, order his food, he sit down, and these cats decide to pick on him. So let me commercial break me. My stepdad was Golden Gloves in the pen. Really do them things really well. 6'2", 225 pounds, good. That's he used to always say, boy, hey, I'm good. Don't believe me, ask your mama. Imagine a cat saying that to you at 8 years old. Boy, listen here. I'm macaroni doo-doo. You don't believe me? Ask your mama. I'm good. What? You said to an 8-year-old? Don't believe me? Ask your mama. As much as we be capping and talking, I'm saying capping, I mean ranking. I ain't with these new theories, pause, the cap, and all that. Don't let me get started with that stuff. I'm not going to because I don't want to offend nobody. But I don't talk that way. We were clowning, I'll just say that. And he used to have us rolling of so many different things he said. But we always play the dozens and be talking about people's mom. He wasn't trying to disrespect us. He's just telling us, if you don't believe me on how good I am, ask your mama. Like what? You can take that so many different ways. Like, man, you talking about in the bed? What am I gonna do? Ask my mama if you what? Or did he really get down? Get down. Go ask your mom about me. I was put my hands on people back in high school. She already know. It goes through so many levels. It even gets deeper when I start talking to my dad about him. My dad told me that Butch was his protector. Butch was like his bodyguard. Because Butch was older than him, and Butch put hands on people that used to mess with Pops. Because Pops used to tell me how it was walking through the CD and how many folks he done got into it with. And Butch would be there mopping cats like get off of him. Like Butch was known for throwing them things. So back to the story. So he tells us that these guys decided to um start going messing with the Asian dude, probably playing with his hair and pushing on him. While he's sitting down, and one of them just decide to just take it a step further. Takes the man's milkshake and dashes it in his face. Now he got strawberry milkshake all over his face, dripping down on him. He looking a mess, and they laughing at him, clowning him, and that was it. He went up within seconds. So mind you what I told you about my stepdad. He's a scrapper. He said that he start whooping they ass so bad that he left out of the doghouse and left them to get their whooping on it. 4 of them. He's putting hands, feet, face on, beating the brakes off of these cats. It's 4 of them against this little frail, because this ain't before, because when we see Bruce is cock diesel underneath there when he takes off his shirts. He's still like 17, 18. He's not his full grown man body where he didn't got all these muscles but he got something underneath there. They just couldn't see it. He said he had never seen nothing like that. The man just beat. Oh man, did old Asbury so wrong, and that's his buddy. But he's like, what was I gonna do with that? This man has something that I am not experienced with. He said, so he just let them take that whooping and let it be what it was, and stepped up out of the doghouse and just continued watching from afar. Look, he wanted to get out of range of getting feet put on him because of by accident or you're with them or you look like you about to jump in. Look, I'm getting completely out of the vicinity. I don't want you to even think that I'm with these cats. They about to take this whooping by themselves. Man, we was in there crying, laughing, because we could not believe it. And mind you, old Asbury was sitting right there just looking sick face because he knew it had happened. Yeah, old Bruce was no joke since way back when. A lot of people just don't know that he originally started a lot right here in Seattle, and his, to my knowledge, his original burial is still up there on 15th and what's the cross street? I want to say Interlaken, but Interlaken goes down. Ah, anyway, it's the main cross street is 15th. It's the I forgot the name of the cemetery, but it wasn't too far from my school. I used to go to Stevens Elementary, and you walk all the way down the hill once you get to the ending of the street, pretty much of where the I'm trying to think of that part. Anyway, where the funeral, where the cemetery is, just all the way down the street to the right. That's where my school was, like 3 blocks down, Stevens Elementary. So anyway, yeah, that's what we were told he was buried there. I think it's like about a 4 foot high, not statue, but the plaque thing. His joint's nice, still there. Now, of course, I'm sure they got something back home in China, but here in the States, not in California. The original spot that I remember was right there on 15. Speaking of that, he even did having uh, I believe this was one of his places that because I'm sure he had a bunch of them. One of his places where he taught karate or kung fu back then was on another place, and it's still there to this day on 15th. There's a karate or a kung fu place right across the street from the we call it the Chinese Park, but in actuality, that's this is the Japanese part because the people that owned it, they were Japanese. If I'm not mistaken, they own that part, and there's another big housing or apartment, um, big apartments right up the street, like about 3 blocks up. But anyway, they used to have a bunch of back in the days. I think every summer they would have these big parties all the way into the nights, and man, it was just a trip because at night they have the water in these little ponds and they have the lights turned on, have the inside. You have to see what I'm talking about. They had these little, inside of this little pond thing, you got a little maze. They had the water going through it. And as a little kid, you were just fond of looking at this stuff and the lights were on inside. It was just a trip. And then they had the big thing that I'm like, uh, I don't know what it's called, but a thing that where they ring the bell, they still have that there on 15th. Like anyway, a lot of stuff what Bruce had did here in Seattle was still right in the central area. And a dude that he had, I guess, trained or was working with, a young black dude, he had told us the story about literally at this place. Dude was like, yeah, Bruce was showing us some things and how hard he can hit, and we kind of didn't believe him, and so he's like, did that little one, what is it, the 1 inch punch theory on old boy, had old boy stand right in front of him and just hit him real quick. He said he flew 3 to 4 feet, or was it 5 to 6 feet, and broke 2 to 3 ribs just off of that hit. And Bruce was no joke, man. So, man, I got some more stories about what I've been told and what I've learned about Bruce, but Butch was around for all the shenanigans because that was his neighborhood at the time, the central area. So he was just giving us one little snippet about what had happened to him back in the days there in Seattle, here in Seattle. Now this one right here is a little grimier, and it's kind of sick. So he told us that back in the days when he was locked up, yeah, when he was locked up in the pen in Chicago on death row, that the state or whoever would take people off of death row and put them in the war when they were fighting the Vietnam War. I don't know how many other wars, but this is what he told us had happened when he was fighting the Vietnam War. So you're intrigued as a 7, 8 year old kid hearing this, like, what? So he starts telling us the story of how it was when he first got there, with his people he just met. It's like there was 149, 150, including him, that went from death row to go fight in the war. So this was the stipulation. You go out here, you make it out alive, you're free. If you get killed, well, you're going to die anyway because you're on death row. Well, it's about to get rid of you anyway, partner. So you got a chance. You better go smoke some folks and make a living and make sure you make it back home. Because if you don't, well, you're just going to die anyway. We're just going to get rid of you, period. Because that's why you was parked on death row. That's just how scandalous it was back then. So, and to be honest, I had to ask my grandpa because my grandpa was, in the military. And I asked him, I forget how old I was, but I had to ask him, like, Grandpa, I was told a story of this, that, and the third about. He was like, yeah, that's true. They were doing that back then. Huh? Like the story that Butch told. Because for a while, we're not believing this. And then, but let me, commercial break me, back it up a little bit. We went to church one day. First time, and I think the only time we went to church for Butch, I kid you not, on the Easter Sunday. And we went to a church, and we're just thinking that we're going to a regular church just because it's Easter Sunday. Excuse me. Well, the preacher gets to preaching, saying, doing his thing, and the preacher says, yeah, and see, I see my old buddy back there, old Butchie Cox. Yeah, they had, and Butch is getting embarrassed because he don't like to be put on Front Street. He just kind of put his head down, and he's like, yeah, old Butchie Cox, that's my old running partner. Didn't know that the pastor used to be Pastor Townsend. He know he knows this story I'm about to say because it's the truth. He said my old buddy, him and 150 of his buddies went to go fight in Vietnam, and only 11 of them made it back. Me and my brothers did this. We all looked at each other and looked at him sick-faced because we've heard so many stories. A typical kid. You hear so many stories for so long, at one point you're like, man, all this stuff can't be true. All this stuff just can't be true. What you're telling us, man. Okay, yeah, right, yeah, yeah, y'all robbed everybody. Okay, got it. Yeah, he killed the sheriff, the president, and only got 2 years. Gotcha. Yes, and y'all went and hit the Pope after you did all that. Yeah, man. It get to a point where it's just not making sense, and you don't believe it. But he confirmed it in the church house, blew us away. So we started putting some truth behind everything he said from there on out because the pastor saying it got to be right. Because I didn't talk to my grandpa about this until I think I was in my 20s. So anyway, he tells us that one particular mission they went on, or not mission, one particular situation, they would go out, and it's kind of grimy, but this is just what he told us, the fact. He said they used to be having so many different issues and be getting into it with the enemy. For instance, women would come by, they have their kids on their backpacks on their back, walking with their kids, and before you know it, they'll just let one of their kids go. That kid would roll down, because you remember, they were on them and they fell off of them. They would roll down to a bunch of them that were sitting somewhere. Boom! Blow up 5 to 10 folks, just like that, including their child. This is what he told us that they used to do, putting grenades on their kids, dropping them off, and killing up folks. That's just how scandalous it got. So now they took, you know, offense to that foolishness. And they're like, okay, you guys want to do this? We got something for you, little disrespectful, trifling little tramps. Excuse me. So he said they started getting these chicks because also they used to be selling these stuff. That was just a thing that them Asians were doing when you come over there. Black man, you want yeah, put pipe yeah, and punani? Yeah, pay me, black man. You put pipe and punani. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. So he said that they had this one cat. He said they had this one cat. He said Pipe was down to past his kneecaps, like he was hung. Literally, he said not that nobody was pipe checking. It's just that hey, certain things when you're in the shower, those big showers, you just ain't gonna miss something like that. It's just man, as sick as it sounds, it's the reality. If you are showering up and somebody come and you see, you can't miss it. So evidently, I'm just role playing. Ain't like he told me this like this. I'm just trying to use my imagination. How the hell would you know what this boy is working with? Or unless he had already, oh, my bad. See, if I was good with editing, I might take this out. This is what he had said. What had happened is, old boy had already hit a couple of them females. And he said he was so, like I said, hung, he was just splitting them wide open. I mean, he just go in and just destroy them. Because you know how thin they were. But now he said splitting them wide open as a kid. My mind got to, dang, he really splitting them wide open? No, he was just giving them too much pipe that they couldn't handle. And he probably was damaging their uterus, their vaginal walls, their everything. That's just the way how he broke it down. So word got out about old boy, and the reason why I say now that I know my memories come back to me, the Asians and the rest of his partners got wind to this because of how he was damaging these chicks, just hitting them. So wording got out. Then yeah, he got pipe. He's putting in major work. Man, look here. One chick came through, sang still, expecting him to do what he do, because they were getting them just for these purposes, just to split them open, as he would put it. This is what they were getting the chick for. They may have thought they were getting paid just because they wanted some. No, they had a game plan. Y'all want to drop your babies off and kill up some of us? Well, we gonna try to get rid of you for y'all's nasty selves for doing this foolishness. That one time that one chick comes in and he's supposed to be doing his thing, he said, soon as he goes in to hit her, he said, oh boy's joint went just like this, open up like the Red Sea. His entire pipe, all the way down, just split open, died instantly, just bled out. He said that woman's body had smoke coming from it after they let off the M16s into her tail. Lit her monkey tail up right there on the spot. Think I'm lying? My siblings can confirm this story that he told us. They smoked her, literally smoked her nasty, disgusting tail. She had they got the double-sided razors, and then they got those razors that have that end where you can't cut yourself and you can touch the razor, but it still has that sharp razor on the other side. She must have placed her in her joint correctly, had it in there. You females know what you can do with your stuff. Well, evidently that Asian woman knew how to work her stuff. She had that thing in there, and literally split this man's, to be politically correct, his penis in half with that razor. Yeah, they was doing some sick stuff over there in the Vietnam War. I just wanted to give you guys a shout out give you guys that story on how it used to be back in the days and what I've learned from my stepdad. Because, man, he has some crazy, interesting, and funny stories. That one was kind of gruesome and sick, but hey, that was the life that they were living in that Vietnam War. So, again, like I always tell y'all, I'm not here to be doing no arguing and no fussing. I'm definitely not here to be going back and forth with y'all and cussing. And I'm hoping ain't nobody getting that frustrated that we got to do no bussing. All I'm here to do is have a simple discussion. So get in the comments section, like, share, subscribe, and put other folks up on this. You may not like it. Somebody else might like it. You never know. Let's just pass the word on. And I'm just getting started, man. Like I say, I got quite a bit in just this one right here, and there's more. And there's more that's going to come to my dome. And there's other things I'm going to be reacting to because I want to point out some stuff that we're not aware of, and we've been getting gamed up for so long. But anyway, that's coming. So, like I said, I appreciate it, man. I'll be back soon with more. Y'all have a good one. And this is D Chill at the discussion, and I'm out.